we removed 3 illegal fences, while in Tsumkwe from Monday the 24th up to the 12th we are removing 24 fences that we are busy removing there. In 2023 the board investigated took legal procedures when these illegal fences were identified, and subsequently notices to remove these illegal fences were served to the identified people, of which they failed to adhere to the notices, because normally in the notice a farmer is given 30 days notice to remove the illegal fences. If not, then the board will then seek the approval of the minister to then do the removal by itself or through an entity that will be able to assist the board in removing these illegal fences. So in terms of tension, there has not been any tension because it has been something that was communicated already to these communities, and they did not adhere to removing the fences. So then the board, with the support of the National Youth Service, are the ones that they're now carrying out the removal of these fences, and it has been quite smooth.
Well, how far back do these illegal fencing cases come, and what are some of the issues delaying the cases being resolved sooner?
Yes, these cases, the ones specifically that we're busy with, comes way back from 2023. That is to 2023, around August. That's when the farmers were served with the notices, and that was after, as I said, hearing that were conducted. And that were, as a result, we then realized that these fences are already illegal. So, but some of these fences, you remember that in 2018 there was a High Court order, especially in Tsumkwe area, Tsumkwe-West area, where the order directed the board to remove illegal fences. And the board managed to remove all those illegal fences. But now you are getting a situation whereby farmers have moved to other areas, not the ones where they were before, moved to new areas within the same district, Tsumkwe-West area, and then they have started again erecting up fences. So some of those that have now erected new ones are part of this of 2023 where we are busy removing at the moment.
Right. Now, in the case where farmers were given 30 days to remove their structures or to appeal, have there been any appeals yet?
As I said, it's since 2023. Normally what then happens is that a person should appeal within those 30 days notice that you were given. Then your appeal would then have to go to the Executive Director of the Ministry of Agriculture, now Fisheries, Water and Land Reform. That's where the appeal has to go to within those 30 days notice that you are given. But now it's already, as I said, it's 2023, we're in 2025. There has not been any communication from the Ministry's office of any appeal that has, come before them. So that clearly shows that there has not been any appeals, and that's why also there is no resistance from farmers at this moment when we are doing the actual removal, because they are quite aware and they did not exercise their rights to appeal. Thus, it gives us the power to then go ahead and remove those fences.
Now, have the farmers responded to the illegal removal of these fences by the communal land? I mean, have you had any meetings, rather, with those people, and have they expressed their grievances or resistance as to why these illegal fences were set up in the first place? I mean, why are they doing that?
The traditional authorities through the board gives customary land rights to farmers, and these customary land rights only includes the homestead, the kraals around the homesteads, and also crop field. Those are mostly apart if a farmer applies for lease, right of leasehold, but mostly you find customary land rights being issued to communal farmers. Mm-hmm. But now what then transpires is that the person is given a piece of land to do his or her farming, but apart from this parcel that the person is given, maybe 3 hectares or so, then these farmers then goes further and then erects illegal fences in the commonage being the grazing area where now other neighboring farmers are then affected.
Exactly.
And you remember that in Tsumkwe area especially, you have nomadic communities where they survive on felt food and other natural resources. And once these areas are fenced off, then they are deprived of this right. They are not allowed to enter those fenced off areas to even collect firewood or to look for felt food. So it becomes a challenge to them. Thus, then it creates a tension or a problem among this fenced off area with the rest of the community. So then these people are then tempted to approach their traditional authorities, who then takes up the matter, engage the board, and then the board would then do its investigations, face-to-face investigation with these farmers, where such an exercise was carried out. And after these hearings, that's when the board realized that, yes, it's true, these fences are illegal and they're encroaching on commonage. Then they need to be removed. So you are given that time in 30 days to remove your fence. If not, then once the board comes and do the removal, then you share the cost with the board, because those materials or that you have used for your fence will then be confiscated, taken to government store, and they are put on auction so that the board can recover that cost. And if there is a difference between what we have recovered and the actual exercise that went on, then again that farmer is expected to then cover for the difference. So then the board will issue an invoice to this farmer to be able to cover that difference. So we always advise our farmers that once you're given a notice of 30 days, you are allowed to remove these materials yourself so that you can keep them. And then if you then follow the due process, then you will be able to still reuse those materials. But if you don't, then once the board comes, then these things belongs to government, becomes government property that would then have to be auctioned off.
Right. Now, the Communal Land Board team is expected to cover an area of about 148 kilometers. Now, given the vastness of the area to be covered, what are some of the main challenges that are being experienced by the team in carrying out their task?
Yeah, to start with, in Okakarara, where we started from the 18th, we did not have to make challenges in terms of, because the major challenge here is the access to these fences. Some of them are into thick bushes where there are no roads, and for the colleagues that are doing the actual work, they've got a truck that they need to move with to load those poles and wires and so on, steel wires. So it's more of a challenge, but I think we are getting, these are young people from the National Youth Service, well-trained young, members of the National Youth Service. So they are quite energetic. They can walk and collect, but it's a challenge. In Okakarara, where we started, we covered almost 18 kilometers, which is an area of about 131 hectares. That was covered as part of the removal of these illegal fences. There was no challenge. The areas are quite well accessible. But in Tsumkwe, that's where we are foreseeing, and we somehow have already experienced that from Monday the 24th, the area where the team started. But I think it's something that they are able to manage. And in Tsumkwe, yes, they are covering an area of almost 148 kilometers, which will be an approximate size of 8,697 hectares of area that will be covered to remove these illegal fences. And this is a huge area. Bear with me that these communities, as I said, are surviving on felt food. So this is a very huge area, and once such area is fenced off, again, as I said, it's encroaching on other people's rights.
Now, would you say there are any hurdles that are encountered by the traditional authorities, the traditional councils, the Ministry of Justice, the Land Relations, and the Communal Land Board, perhaps, in resolving any cases that may occur?
Yes, maybe one challenge is that these cases are coming from 2023 and they are only being resolved now in terms of the removal. You see the board, in terms of its meetings, the board does not sit every month. It sits after 2 or 3 months and so on. So somehow this also delays some matters that needs to be tackled urgently. Probably that's why you find that, these matters are ongoing since then. And then the process of also acquiring a contractor to get this job done also takes a bit of a process, because it goes back to the ministry for them to then relook and see whether there are resources available, first from the coffers of the board at the regional level, and see whether there would be a need to source funds from somewhere to cover cost of the contractors that are doing this job. So those are some of the issues that would delay cases. But in terms of getting on the cases, making sure that if there's an issue that is on the table of the regional authority, the very first thing is that the authority, as I said, would then have to get into that matter, get the two parties together, and then once they put out a judgment, if there is any party that is aggrieved, then this party is then given the right to appeal to the board, and then the board would then also come in and do its investigation, get to hearings with those parties that are involved, and then again the board will then have its judgment, and then again, as I said, once a member of the public is aggrieved by the board decision, then this person would then have to appeal to the executive director of the ministry, who then institute a tribunal hearing where this matter would then be taken to. And again, if one party is again aggrieved by the judgment of the tribunal, then this party is again then allowed to appeal to the High Court. So that's the process that we follow. And sometimes, again, as I said, it takes a bit of time to get these people together. Some of them are not staying at their places; they are working somewhere. So it takes a bit of time, but we try by all means to ensure that issues are tackled promptly and within the confines of the Communal Land Reform Act.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jackson, based on the Otjozondjupa Communal Land Board's observation, what is the condition of the areas that have been illegally fenced off now compared to when it was not fenced off?
Yes, the condition of the areas you are asking in terms of the rangeland situation, whether it has been overgrazed or better managed. Is that how you asking?
Yes.
Yeah. No, we are coming from a difficult situation of concurrent droughts that we had, but you can now see with the good rains that we received, and also some farmers, they don't have animals, so many animals, because a person would fence off an area, but still his or her livestock will graze outside that fenced off area, meaning it's more of a dual grazing that the person is practicing. So you find that those areas, yes, the grazing is well confined. In some areas where the person doesn't have livestock, it's a bit underutilized. In some cases, since we are coming from recurrent droughts, it has been a bit overgrazed. But now with the rainfall that has been falling around in Namibia, you are realizing that these areas have been the grazing has improved a bit. But again, as I said, if an area grazing is improving, is for all that are there to utilize, not only for one person to utilize who doesn't have that right. Meaning, if you want to do fencing, the Act provides that you need to apply through Regulation 27. You need to do an application to the General Authority. Then they can then confirm the area and see that it does not confine. So that once they are confirmed, they have confirmed that the area does not, disturb or encroach into any commonage of others, then they can still be able to allow you to grant you that right to fence off that area. But now our communities are doing the other way. The people are erecting fence illegally, and then this creates problems among themselves, and then issues arise up. So once this process comes, a person would feel that maybe it's not proper, why are you putting it down? I've made an application. But what we have been saying is that if there are some grievances at the moment of maybe members, and this thing is coming along with since 2023, So it should have been grievances. They should have already taken the proper steps. But now, yes, you might find one asking 1-2 questions just for clarity. But you always direct that you need to engage your regional authority thereafter and see whether they will be able to help you once you follow the due process.